Hi, this is Greg with GM Davis Photography. Today's tutorial is going to be leveraging GIS to market your real estate assets. Disclaimer, I'm in no way a licensed or certified surveyor. This is merely a tutorial to provide a means of creating a visual representation of property boundaries within aerial photographs for the purposes of marketing real estate assets. Resources you'll need: any county GIS, it depends on where the real estate's located. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be utilizing qpublic.schneidercore.com. I'll also be using Google Maps, and you can use whatever spreadsheets you have available: Microsoft Excel, LibreOffice, OpenOffice, whatever else may be floating around out there. All right, your county GIS system. If you've looked at them once, it's probably enough to know that they're not all created equal. Sometimes the service may not even be available. Other times the service available may not even be worth it. It could have poor image quality, accuracy on how the boundary lines are laid in reference to the images provided could be inaccurate. And of course, you may have to either manually retrieve the information to build a spreadsheet that you can use for the boundaries, or may even offer the ability to download the file, which is a .kml file that it may automatically provide that to do. So, and of course, ease of use. Different vendors that make these websites can make it pretty difficult to utilize sometimes. All right, in this we'll be doing or looking at two different methods. You can simply download the information file, which is the first one that we'll do. And the second one is you can manually record the data and then put it into a spreadsheet. And then that spreadsheet you'll be able to actually upload that spreadsheet for the overlay. All right, with Google Maps, once we get the needed data, you can actually just upload the file that you downloaded or upload the spreadsheet that you loaded. That part on Google Maps is pretty simple. All right, so without further delay, let's jump right into it. Okay, as I stated earlier, we'll be using qpublic.schneidercore.com. I live in South Carolina currently, and this is the service that provides the GIS that we utilize. As you can tell, this is the opening page. We'll simply go down to where it says State and select South Carolina. Then, for this tutorial, we'll be doing a property in Pickens County. So you hit the downward pointing triangle, select Pickens County, where the property is located, and then just click Property Search. All right, it opens up your search criteria. Here we'll be using the address. The property address that I'm going to be doing in this demonstration today is 149 Summit Pine. So select that, it automatically opens up the summary. Here in the summary, you have all the summary information here. You scroll down, you can see all the tax information, previous ownership, up to current ownership, that kind of stuff. But what we're looking for, you come down to where it says View Map right here. You can just left click it. Okay, now from this point, if the imagery on the site, and this actually isn't too bad of imagery, if the imagery on the site isn't too bad, you actually have the ability to download the image directly from the site. And I'll go ahead and show you that first. That's not within the parameters of this tutorial particularly, but I just wanted to show you, if you get away with decent imagery when you look up something, then by all means take the easier route. As you can see, when you look up the property, it'll automatically come by default on this website with the boundaries already highlighted. So in order to optimize this image at this point, come up here on this one. It says maximize map display. For this website, it's the fourth from the right. So left click that once and it's going to drop all the marginal information. Left click that. Now it leaves you with just the image. Okay, then you can simply zoom out or zoom in until you get the desired relative cropping of the image that you'd like to use. So in this case, I'm going to zoom out. I want to frame it up this way because it shows a little bit more of the roads coming into the area. It also shows some of the surrounding areas. You got two ponds here, and of course part of the lake that comes down here. So they'll be able to show the potential buyer that it's got a really nice lake close by. Now, looking at this map, you'll see you have it's really busy. You got a whole bunch of colors and numbers and stuff. You just want to isolate it to the property that you're doing, and that's all. So I'm going to come over here and click Layers, and then I'm going to uncheck Parcels, 911 Address, and yearly sales. Those are the default settings for every map that pops up. And then you'll see that leaves us with just the isolated boundaries for the property we're trying to showcase, and it shows the streets and the street names coming into it. So yeah, we'll leave it like that. Now from this point, all we have to do is come over and left click download, and then you can see once you left click that, it'll give you a PNG format that you can download, or you can come over and left click on JPEG. So I left click on that, it'll bring up a save dialog box. Make sure save file is selected, then click OK. And if you just minimize this here and go to your file system and download, you'll see it'll provide a map here. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. But what if for some reason the map imagery that's on the GIS file isn't quite up to snuff? You want to be able to use something that looks a little bit nicer. Well, that's the purpose of this tutorial, and that's what we're going to get into now. So let's open this back up, and we're going to go back out to QPub. We're going to start all over again. All right, so again, select state, the county the property is located in, and left-click property search. From here, once again, we'll type in the address. Of course, it auto-populates since I've done it so many times. And then from below the summary, left-click on View Map. Okay. Now, from this point, we want to be able to download the data off of this map, because the data itself will be good, but for some reason the map quality is, the image quality is crappy, or maybe it's just not aligned as well as it should be on the map. So we're going to come up here to this nifty little icon here. That's your Google Earth KML. Is what it says it is. Now this is a direct download link to the KML file that you'll need to utilize for the overlay on Google Maps. So just left click that once. Again, you'll get a dialog box. It says feature.kml is going to be the name of the file. It'll go to your my computer by default. It goes to the downloads. Make sure save file selected and click OK. All right. Now that that's downloaded, we'll go to the next step. Okay, now that we have the .kml file saved, we want to go over to Google. Come over to the top right-hand side, hovering over Google Maps, and open that, then select Maps. Once the Google Maps application has opened up, you're going to come to the top left here and select Menu. Come down and select Your Places. Click the Maps tab. Then at the very bottom center, you want to left click on Create Map. Alright, once you get to this point, come up to where it says Untitled Map, just left click on it once and it'll open up a box where you can actually title the map that you're creating. And we'll just simply title it as the address that we're doing for this demonstration. Once you do that, click Save. Alright, the next step, you're going to come down here where it says Untitled Layer, and just below that you're going to hover over where it says Import, and you'll notice it says Import Data from a CSV file, Spreadsheet, or KML. So just left click on Import. This Import dialog box pops up to where you select a file from your device, and it defaulted over to my Downloads page. So as we discussed earlier, feature.kml was the name of the file that we downloaded from the GIS website. So you're going to left click on that once, click Open, and it'll start the uploading process. Alright, now we have our base map. If you'll notice in the center of the screen, you see the yellow boundaries. That is actually the information that we got off the .kml file from the GIS site. That's the boundaries of the property in correlation with the new Google map here. Now obviously we don't want to have a base map set up, so you come over to where it says base map, click the downward pointing triangle, and then hover over and select satellite. Now you'll see that once you selected satellite, that layer opens up a much nicer quality photograph that we can use in the assets that you want to publish for selling the property that you have in mind. Alright, once all that's taken care of, come over here to where it says preview and click that once. Now from there you can come over, just left click this dismiss. That'll get that out of the way. It's not important for the video that we're doing. And now from here you can actually zoom in or zoom out to determine the cropping that you want for your photograph. For the purposes of this photograph, I think that'll look pretty good. It gives a nice surrounding area as the lake, how close it is to the lake, and it's got the couple of ponds right here. It also gives nice layout of the roads leading into the property. Alright, the next step is we want to open up Snipping Tool. Now I've got Snipping Tool saved to my taskbar. I use it quite often, so I've already got it saved there. If you don't have it, that's fine. Just come over here to where the search box is at the bottom left. Just left click there, type in Snipping Tool, and it'll bring up where you can open up from there. So open Snipping Tool, hover over and click where it says New, and you notice now the screen has faded out a lot. And as you move the mouse, you'll discover that your mouse is now a crosshair, a white crosshair. So from here, what you want to do is take the crosshair and move it up to the top corner of the area that you want to crop for your photograph. Now press and hold the left mouse button and then drag that crosshair all the way out until you've selected the entire area that you want to crop out for your photograph. Once you've achieved that, just simply release the mouse button and it opens up the Snipping Tool box where you can save it. Click on the 3 1/4 inch floppy disk icon for Save the Snip, and then go in here and you can title the image and then select where you want to download it to. For ease of access, I'm going to download it to desktop and save. Now once you minimize all that stuff out, you can look over and double click that and it'll open up your image that you saved. Okay, so that takes care of the first method. So now we're going to go over and we're going to look at method number 2 for being able to acquire this information so you can create the same type map. Okay, now we're going to do a demonstration for method number 2. The instance where you'll want to use method number 2 is if you come up here and look. In this case, you have the Google Earth.kml button, so you can just automatically download that file. Now, in the instances of other counties within South Carolina, they don't have that option, so you'll have to manually collect the coordinates yourself. And this is how we're going to do it. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to get this photograph or this map image as large as I can, because if you can scroll in to where the map is larger, the points will be easier to actually refine when you hover over the top of them. Let me show you what I mean. So again, we're going to drop all the margins in the map by clicking that button there. Then we're going to scroll in until we have a relatively large map that we can easily hover over. Okay, you're going to see on this one it's a relatively simple layout for the parcel, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate points for this parcel. Okay, you're also going to notice at the very bottom, right here where I'm going over with the mouse, you'll notice that little gray box, and as I move this mouse, the numbers change. Those are your coordinates of the map surface as the mouse hovers over it. Okay, so since we can't automatically extract this information through a file, we have to manually record this information for every single point. Okay, but the first thing we have to do for this one, if you scroll down here all the way down, you'll see the small little square inside of a box. That's for change coordinate system. What you want to do is left click that until you get to decimal degrees. You'll be able to tell that you're at decimal degrees. Number one, if you hover over the top, it'll show lon/lat. Then it puts the format of those decimal degrees to the right in parentheses. But this is the actual particular one that you want. So once you've clicked through until you got to that point, That's the format that you want to collect the coordinates. The next thing you want to do is hover over every single point at the very intersection of every single point. Now, leaving your mouse there, because as you know, if you move it to try to copy and paste over here, it's going to, mess all the coordinates up. So you have to manually record it. Forgive me, pen and paper are the only way I was able to find out how to do this. If you find an easier way to do that, then please, by all means, let me know in the comments below. But hover over that as accurately as you can get at each corner or each corner post. And then in the bottom right, you'll see that first point is negative 82.888670. Okay, the first part of that number prior to the comma is going to be your longitudinal coordinates. After that comma is going to be your latitudinal coordinates, 34.912812. So collect that information for every single point, all 6 points, and once you have those collected, now you can create your spreadsheet, your Excel file or whatever you're going to use to build that. Okay, so I have them already recorded down. In the essence of time, we're going to go straight over and I'll show you the next step there. So we have this information, and this is the document that I created with that information. It's a simple spreadsheet layout, just a little bit different because it's not Excel. But you'll see I have point, longitude, and latitude. And in each cell of this spreadsheet, you're going to record the different points, the longitude all in one and the latitude all in the other one, and go ahead and save the file. I saved the file to the desktop, as you can see here, with the same name title as the address that I'm looking for. So it's already saved. That'll just give you a rundown of how to build that file real quick. Now going back, you want to go to Google this time. We're going to go back to Google Maps. So click this Google Apps menu, select Maps, select the Maps menu, click Your Places, click the Maps tab, and then click Create Map. Okay, we're back to this same screen once again. So you're going to see here under Untitled Map, you can go ahead and click there, and you can, should you choose to, you can actually title that map as well. But this is where we're going to get into bringing this information in. Under Untitled Layer, once again, click Import. Select a file from your device, and then navigate to where you have that Excel spreadsheet or that spreadsheet saved. Left click that file and then click Open. Now this is where it starts getting a little different. Now that you're importing information off of a spreadsheet, you're going to have to actually tell Google Maps where to look to get the information that it needs to build those points. So if you read this real quick, the place marks, you need to be able to select and show which, what is what for where the latitude and longitude line pairs are. Google Maps does a pretty good job of automatically finding it and populating that information for yourself. So this is pretty much just a way of confirming that everything's on the up and up. So once those are correctly selected, just click Continue. Now the second part of this is selecting point, because that's the title of the markers that you're putting at each point. Again, it's just taking all this information and it's making sure it's understanding it correctly. Click Finish. Now it'll populate for you. Okay, now I'm sure this looks familiar to everybody now. It's the same map with the first address, the base map that is. But now instead of all those cool lines, you have these funny looking points of interest laid out on the map. Well, let's show you how to get to where we need to be. So first things first, we want to create another layer. So click Add Layer. Now with Add Layer, what we want to do is click on Draw a Line. Actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and zoom in real quick to make the map bigger so it's easier to hit those points. So click on draw a line, add a line or shape. Now as you hover over these points, get as close to that initial starting point as you can and just click once. And then just pull down. You don't have to hold the click button, just pull down. It'll kind of snap into the points after that. And every time it snaps in to the next point, you just click again, and it adds that leg of the information. Click, snaps in, click, there, and just bring it right back around. And it put in there polygon 1 for the name, so whatever, that's fine. Click save. Once you have that saved, you can click the X and bring all that out. Now you have this really cool outlines here. The lines laid out like you want, but you still have these ugly point of interest marks here. Well, that's pretty easy to get rid of. All you have to do is just come up here and uncheck next to that initial layer that was built, and they disappear. Now you have the ugly gray box. How are you going to fix that? Click that. Let me show you one more time. If you hover over that particular layer that you just added, come over to where you see the paint bucket, left click that, and click on the color of your choice. And we'll just keep using yellow. So now we see it's yellow there, and you have sliders that control the properties of that box that you just drew. Okay, and you'll notice we didn't have any kind of border fill, any kind of fill on that. So I'm going to drag that all the way to the right. And for border width, you just bring it up to where it's pleasing to the eye and you can see it and you think it'll be of the benefit that you want it. So now you have your box. Just click X to close that out. And now you're back to having the same map with the same kind of borders. Click here, down pointing triangle next to base map, switch over to satellite, and you have your layout. And that's how you manually enter that information. From there, you'll still be able to go and do just like we did before. Select preview, click dismiss, scroll out till you find out how you want to lay out that map before you save it. Click the snipping tool, new, select the area that you want to crop, and save it. And we'll just save it as capture the default name. Close that, minimize this, and you can go here and open up your brand new capture. And that's what it'll look like if you save it manually. Alright everybody, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. If you found this video was useful, then please check the like and subscribe box. If you have any further insight or maybe some questions in regards to this tutorial, then by all means put those in the comments box below as well. Thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.